Hello and welcome to the homestead. So this is the weekly Prepare to Prosper live stream. Normally I do it outside, but the weather's not cooperating. It's that misty rain, and well, I don't mind being out in it, and as long as I can keep my glasses mostly dry, I'm okay. Uh, my phone that I use as a camera and my microphone and all that doesn't like the rain as much. So I'm in the workshop. The workshop needs it. We're gonna do a video on it eventually. It needs some serious cleaning and organizing. Um, we've been me and Sarah bought a 10 by 20. I think it's 10 by 20 foot trailer from Sarah's late husband's dad, and we're going to turn it into our workshop / shed area, and turn our shed into a herbal medicine making, like, salves and lotions and stuff like that, and a freeze drying business. But we've just been throwing stuff in here and then slowly going through and organizing it, so it's a mess. But I'll do a video on it when it gets organized. That's why behind me in the video is a weed eater, a ladder, snow shovel, potted plants, there's a snow blower. It's a mess, but we'll get to it and get it cleaned up. Oh, whoa, back. I don't know how to make this thing go away. Am I still live? All right. I accidentally clicked on something that popped up on the screen. Shouldn't have clicked on that. Anyway, let's get on to the subject. We're 2.5 minutes into this and haven't even started it. So today we're going to go over Jacob. Yeah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. And his blessings to his 12 children. So Jacob, we already covered. His name Isaac. Oh, and we're working our way from Abraham all the way up to David and his mighty men. I really want to be talking about David and his mighty men, but I think we need to have a good backstory and lay a good foundation for where David comes in. So we started with the patriarchs, now transitioning from the patriarchs into Israel proper, and then we're going to do Moses in the desert, do a couple of videos on Moses and the people in the desert, Israel being in the desert wilderness, and then Israel. Then we'll go through Joseph or Joshua. Then we'll go through Judges, and that'll lead us up to Saul, and then David. So we're about halfway there, I'd say. We're at the end of Genesis. The last 2 chapters of Genesis is what we're covering. So Jacob knows he's going to die. So Jacob gathers his 12 kids. They're in Egypt right now to bless them. So Reuben, there we are. I found my place in my notes. So Reuben, he's the firstborn. And we're probably going to do a video on Reuben. We're going to do one on Reuben and one on Levi and the Levites. But anyway, Reuben, the reason we need to study him is there's a lot we can learn, a lot of lessons in Reuben. But Reuben's done some serious screw-ups, and he's the firstborn. So when Jacob gets to him, Jacob says his blessing is... Now, these blessings are more like prophecies of how they will live out the rest of their lives, and their tribe will act throughout history. Jacob's future into Israel. Anyway, so Reuben, He's the firstborn. He's supposed to be the greatest. He's supposed to be passed the blessing on to. He's supposed to get all this stuff. He's supposed to be awesome and great and everything. But Reuben screws up quite a bit. The thing that's mentioned here is he sleeps with Jacob's concubine, Bilhah, which is either Rachel or Leah's handmaid. It says concubine in some translations also wife. It's a weird situation. We talked about Jacob's family dynamics before, but what Reuben was trying to do here is trying to have a child with one of Jacob's wives in order to usurp him as the family leader. And when we talk about Reuben, we're going to talk a lot about how he gets a lot of Jacob's, well, really Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob's bad leadership and bad family leadership. And he's a horrible leader of his family. And this is just one of the other things where he's not loyal to his family. He doesn't take care of his family, both his father and the generation older than him. Also, his children, he screws them over too and raises lousy children and hurts his mother or his daughter-in-law. He marries women that he's expressly not supposed to marry. Like I said, we'll get more into Reuben. But because of his lack of discipline and foresight, he loses his position as the firstborn. And that actually gets passed on to Judah. But Reuben loses that because he's not a good son, not a good father, not a good brother, not a good role model of any sort. All right, the next one is supposed to those two are combined together. I don't know why Jacob combined them together, but he did. Well, actually, I kind of do know. They were like Batman and Robin. They were worked together to do things. So it says they were fierce and violent, and their anger all that anger caused them trouble. They killed people. They went and stole livestock. They killed other people's livestock. They did basically everything you could do wrong besides being a family usurper. They did it. And they created this giant mess around them instead of becoming good leaders and good members of their community and all this stuff. They were just ran amok and were menaces to society, basically. So that's the first three kids. So Levi and Simeon also get Is it Levi here? Yeah, Simeon and Levi also get passed up here to be the first. You get the position of the firstborn. So Reuben lost it. Simeon loses it. Levi loses it. Also, part of Simeon and Levi's punishment is that they wouldn't have peaceful inheritance in the land. And we'll see how later, when we discuss Levi and his tribe, Levites, how later subsequent generations took the problems their ancestor caused and turned them into blessings for them and their future generations and their whole tribe. All right, so now those three got skipped for the position of the firstborn. That brings us to Judah. Now, Judah is a leader among his brothers. He's always trying to do the right thing. He's trying to help out. He's trying to honor his father. So Joseph says that he, in the future, his tribe will generate the future kings and great kings and the Messiah. This is one of the early messianic prophecies, and this is where we get the first prophecy that Jesus will be part of the line of Judah, because all the kings of Israel have to be, well, all the kings of Judea. We'll get into the divided kingdom sometime, but all the kings of, so after Israel, the 12 tribes become a nation. That nation gets split into two because of a civil war, and David's David's of the house of Judah. David's descendants stay in the tribe of Judah, which is the southern kingdom. It's Judea. It's what the promised land should still be called today. It's it's where we get the word Jews from, is from Judea. And then later, all the kings of the southern kingdom all come from the line of David. And we'll see later that this promised Messiah becomes narrowed down to not just the tribe of Judah, the family of David and the line of David. But that's for later discussion. This is going to be long enough. Try to do this better. You can hear my quail. I need to do a video talking about the quail setup. Anyway, Zebulon, which is not a name I would name my kids, by the way, but Zebulon. Yeah, kid wouldn't name my kid that. It says that his tribe, his descendants, will live near the sea, and they'll prosper because of it. They'll be good traders, and like not traders as in trading, betraying people, but traders as in they'll trade with other nations. They'll go out on the sea and bring back great wealth for Israel and great wealth for them. Also, because there's on the ocean, they'll also do a lot of fishing. And oh, hold on, I forgot. We gotta go back to Judah real quick. Forgot the lesson. Judah is a great leader and teaches his children to be leaders and passes that leadership ability on down the line. That's something we should strive to do with our children, is to teach them to be good husbands and fathers, good role models, and good leaders of the communities they're part of. And the best way to do that is by setting a high standard for ourselves. Don't set the standard for our children and say, you guys have to do this. Set a standard up here and say, I want you guys to try to meet me up here. And I need to do a better job of that. Some of that I'm going to talk to the kids with tonight at dinner. I have an issue that I need to be fixing, and they need to be fixing the same issue. And they have that problem because I haven't been doing a good job of showing them how to fix that problem. All right, Zebulon. They get land that provides them good, abundant wealth, and we should be doing the same for our children and those around us. We are the land that we have. So, if we are in a position where we're looking for land, we should be looking for land that will provide for us and provide for our family. So, lands that we can home on, and lands that we can increase the value of. So when we pass away, if our children can't use it, because they already established their homesteads, they don't need our homestead. They can sell that homestead at greater value than what we not only bought it originally for, but greater value than all the money we spent to upgrade it. And if we're not in the market, like me and Sarah aren't going to be buying a new house probably ever, but definitely not in the near future, we should be doing everything we can here where we're planted to increase the value of this property and make it provide for us, but also make it a place for our family to future prosper from. And we're doing that. And the reason we don't have a property that's in the ideal home space is because Sarah really wasn't into homesteading and stuff. And her first husband, before he passed away, definitely from my understanding, wasn't into homesteading and that kind of stuff. So he, when they bought the property, well, he bought the property with Sarah, but it's all in his name. When they were getting married, he bought the property. He wasn't looking for a property for homesteading and wanted to build that kind of legacy on to increase the value. He was just looking for a house that he could have his wife and family, future family in. And there's nothing wrong with what he did. He did the exact thing. He set them up, and then we're taking what he did, legacy he left behind when he passed away, and we're building upon that to increase for the children, for his children, which I consider also children, to make them have a better, even better life in the future. And that's this big lesson from Zebulon, is always passing that legacy on and building it. Proverbs says a wise man leaves it an inheritance for his children's children. Now, we've had discussions about that before. That's not just about money, but money is an important part of it. Issachar, good. Wouldn't name my kid Issachar. He's really hardworking, so he passes on that legacy of hard work and the ability to do lots of work and get stuff done, and that allows him to prosper, but allows his whole tribe to prosper into the future. And that lesson's pretty obvious. We should be working hard to secure a better situation for us and our family. Now, that doesn't just mean working hard for the sake of working hard. You have to work hard at things that matter. So that means working hard to make money, working hard to build a community, to build friends and family, and that will take care of each other and help each other. That means working hard to instill a good relationship. You have a good relationship with Jesus, and working to pass that relationship with God onto your children. And you don't just work for work's sake. Work at things that actually bring you something. A lot of people nowadays, you have older people that are like, oh, these kids these days don't want to work. And some of that's true. They don't want to work and don't want to provide stuff. They just want free stuff given to them. But the Amazon guy just pulled in the neighbor's driveway and gave me a weird look because I'm sitting here talking to my phone. Anyway, a lot of young people today, they don't want to work. They want a lot of free stuff given to them, free this, free that. And older people tend to say, well, they just need to shut up and do more work. But it's a little column A, a little column B. They need to shut up and get to work, but they need to work at things that matter. Working a job at McDonald's and just coming in and working hard at McDonald's every day doesn't cut it. You got to go, if you work at McDonald's, you got to come in, you got to be the best burger flipper they've ever seen. You got to be awesome at burger flipping. And you got to either work your way up at McDonald's or use that as a stepping stone. Let's say you don't have a car. So you work at McDonald's because you can walk there. You become the best burger flipper they have. You save up your money, you buy a car. When you go to get another better job, the McDonald's person's glad to give you a reference. That's fine. The Amazon guy's here. Hold on a second. Thank you. So we'll take a little break here. I've been reading this book. I've been reading the Kindle book version of this book. I got this for Daniel, my oldest, and we're going to be giving it away as graduation presents. But it's Rules for Life by Jack Spirko. He's from the Survival Podcast. This is a great book. If you're a young man, buy this book. If you're a young woman, buy this book. If you're not a young man or a young woman, if you're older, buy this book. It's not rules that he came up with. They're rules that he observed and has followed and made him the man he is. And I'm about a third of the way through the book, and it's so far it's really good. And I've listened to every episode of his podcast. He's been doing it 15 years now, and so I highly recommend picking up this book. And All right, back to the live stream. All right, Dan. All right. Dan, it says, is a cunning judge, and he's like a snake, and he strikes swiftly, and he brings justice for his people. But he should be strive to be a just judge, not a cunning judge. And we see later that the tribe of Dan is not a good tribe. They do a lot of sneaky stuff, a lot of nasty stuff, and it actually becomes like an insult to say somebody's from Dan, basically. If you say somebody's from Dan, you're saying they're not trustworthy, they're shady, and stuff like that. So he passes on to his future generations the cunning side, the ability to strike at people side, and not the righteous judgment side, and the seeking after justice. And that the lesson there again is obvious. We should take the best parts of ourselves and try to pass that on to future generations, not the worst parts, and try to get them to foster the best parts of themselves and work with ourselves to fix the worst parts of ourselves and show them show our children how to fix the worst parts of themselves. My screen keeps falling asleep. All right. Gad. All right. All right. So Gad, is often attacked, but he's really resilient. He can fight back. He can recover from these attacks, and he passes that lesson on to his kids. And that's something we need to pass on to our kids is resilience, and not just if we're physically attacked, but be able to bounce back from a financial setback. Oh, the car blew up, and we got to figure out how to buy a new car. The water heater went out. We got to show the kids how to have an emergency fund, how to deal with those kind of things. When something bad happens, like Sarah losing her first husband, she did a best job she could at helping the kids through that. And me losing my first wife, that while that's a tragedy, and I wish it wouldn't have happened, but that gives me something to talk about the kids. The other day, something happened that reminded me of April. And then a couple days later, something happened that reminded Thomas of his father. And I could use the fact that I lost April to relate to him in a way that I wouldn't have been able to otherwise. So we need to take the bad things in our life and use them for good. So one of the things the Bible talks about is bad things in our lives being testing. And it doesn't mean testing like an algebra test. It means testing like we test metals to see if something's really gold or not. And it's a purification process, this testing is. So when you melt a metal, the impurities will oftentimes float to the top. And you get some at the bottom too, but you'll have dross at the top. And you got to scrape that dross off before you can pour the liquid metal into a mold to be able to use it for something. And whether that be a bullet mold or you're making a lead candlestick or whatever you're making, and lead typeset for a printing press. So when you pour that lead, or when you scrape off that dross, you're removing impurities from the metal. But the only way to get those impurities out is to heat the metal up until it melts. And oftentimes, the best way for us to get the impurities out of our life is to go through these bad things and use them as an opportunity to remove the bad parts of ourselves and go forward as better people. Asher. It just says that he will be blessed with abundance and his people will enjoy being abundant. He is seeking after God and God's blessings, and God is blessing him. And we need to seek after God's blessings. We need to be praying for God to bless us and stuff. Not say, hey, God, I really want this fancy car. Say, God, will you give me the blessings, your blessings? Bless me in the way you want me to be blessed. Give me the good things you want me to have. All right, we're on to the last page. We got, looks like 3 more brothers, and then we're done. We'll wrap things up. So, Nephi. Nephi, something like that. Again, not gonna name it, wouldn't name a kid that. I wouldn't even name a dog that. Anyway, he's free spirited. He's also described as being swift, and he can speak well and do beautiful speeches. We need to not be rigid in everything we do, and leave opportunity for art and creativity, and pass that art and creativity on to kids. So my art, I have 2 big arts that I really enjoy doing, and it's planting stuff. I like building a garden and building flowers. We're starting to redo the front yard and make it look nice and beautiful, and planting plants that will act as a sound barrier and provide all kinds of beauty to us, but also medicinal and all kinds of stuff. And that's one of my arts. One of my other arts is I'm sitting here in my workshop. I like to make things. I haven't in the past gotten as much time to spend doing that as I'd like. I hope to in the future. I just have been spending a lot of time building our raised bed garden. While I'm done with this live stream, I'm going to be heading back out to do that. This evening, I plan on starting to edit the video of us building it, and then hopefully this week I'll have that out later this week, and next week I'll have out the video of us filling it and getting ready to plant into it. Because that building things and plant art is what I like. Sarah's more into jewelry making and stuff like that. So she's trying to teach the kids some of your traditional kind of art stuff, while I'm trying to teach them how to make things look nice and be nice for themselves. Also, one thing we're working on is Thomas, our youngest, has some fine motor issues, and me and Sarah both have arthritis. Mine's mostly due to injuries in my hands. So we plan on playing with Legos and building things out of Legos routinely. And that'll help me and Sarah with our hands, but also help that creative art. And I want to pause here for a minute. I can hear some sirens. I try to always stop and pray when I hear sirens. So if you could join me real quick, I'd really appreciate that. God, please look after the whoever is in need that these sirens are going to, though, and look after the people that are the rescuers, the first responders that are going out there, and let them be safe as well. And allow everybody who's touched by this, all the friends and families of both the person in need and the first responders, let them meet their needs in this and whatever is going on. And please help all of them involved and everybody else gather or grow closer to you. And in all things, I want your will to be done first. So whatever your sovereign will is, that's the best thing to be done. Let that be the primary thing done to glorify you. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. Joseph. On to Joseph. I recommend you read the last 3 chapters of Genesis. So Joseph, he has 2 children. He's Jacob's favorite. He has 2 children, and one of them's the firstborn and one of them's the secondborn. Well, Joseph's tribe is split into the two half tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh, the two kids. And I don't remember which one's the firstborn, which one's not. But Jacob intentionally passes on the blessing of the firstborn to Joseph's secondborn child. And that's because it doesn't matter what position we're born into life. It matters what God wants from us in life. And we should be seeking after what God wants from us in life. But here, those two tribes are combined back together into the tribe of Joseph. We'll see later. They're even assigned different lands, and they're half tribes. There's still only 12 tribes, and so sometimes what Ephraim does things, and sometimes Manasseh does things. So there's always 12 of tribes. And when it says all of them, like if all of them go to war, the Levites aren't allowed to go to war. So Ephraim and Manasseh go to war, and that gives you to 12. And if they're going to do this, well, Ephraim might stay behind, and Manasseh go with the other 11, and that'll get you to 12 as well. But anyway, Joseph, he's fruitful despite the hardships in his life. And he's blessed through his strength and through his reliance on God. And again, the lessons we've already talked about this. We need to be better people and use the hardships in our lives to grow. And I'm not going to go into all the detail again, but we already covered this pretty good. And we need to do that and be able to pass that fruitfulness and those blessings on to the people around us. All right, Benjamin, the youngest one. It says he's fierce like a wolf. His people will be bold and victorious, taking what's theirs. He fights, but he fights justly. And he does what needs to be done when it needs to be done. And that's something I need to be working on, is learning to get in better shape. So I've been working on my leg routine. I just added a core lower leg and shoulders because I have a torn rotator cuff. Leg and shoulders. I've been working on those a lot. Well, I just added a simple core routine to that. And next I'm going to be, and I've been walking a lot too. And I'm going to be increasing how far I walk and how much I walk. And next I'm going to be adding like a chest routine too, to try to increase my strength. But also we're going to be looking into later this summer some self-defense courses for our family. And also we need to make sure we put it on the schedule and do this. But going shooting with the family and teaching how firearm safety, first and foremost, but also marksmanship, and teaching when it's appropriate to use a firearm for defense, when it's appropriate to use our fist for defense, and knowing that, and knowing how to defend ourselves and defend others, and protect ourselves and protect others. That's what I need to work on that for myself, so I can teach my children that better. And that's pretty much the whole spiel. That's pretty much all we got. Next week we'll probably, I have on the schedule next week to start into Moses, but I think we're going to take a break and talk about Reuben. Then we'll talk about Moses for a couple weeks, and then we're going to go and take a break to talk about Levi. And then we'll go back into Moses and the people of Israel in the wilderness, and probably wrap that up. So, if you like this kind of stuff, if you want to check out my homesteading and preparedness stuff, food storage, we got some cooking videos. We got all kinds of stuff. We're building a new raised bed. We're going to be putting in some swales. The front fence line that I mentioned that's going to be medicinal and ornamental and block sound. If you're into this kind of stuff, into the Bible study stuff, if you want to be into preparedness, better homesteading, if you like this journey that I'm on to become a better man, like, subscribe, you know the routine. Also, you can join me on Telegram, and it's a discussion there. I'm not a leader of a movement. I'm a member just like you. I'm on this journey with you guys. And that's t.me/prepare to prosper, or you can just search for prepare to prosper on Telegram, and that's with the number 2. And that's pretty much all I have for today. I hope you guys have a blessed week, and I hope people come back and join me next week. And remember, we prepare today so we can prosper tomorrow.